you finish eating something and then you go home and you start falling sick and you think it is your village people. It is not your village people, it is you that have caused it for yourself. In fact, I hear some people say food that is sold beside the gutter is sweeter. How? Like, is it the smell that is adding to the taste of the food? Guys, I'm not feeling too well. Reason I've not uploaded video for some days now, but I still have to shoot this video and upload for you guys because I cannot just leave you guys. And besides, it's been a long time I sat down to discuss with you all, and this particular topic has been on my mind to discuss with you guys because of my last upload. I think it's very important for me to talk about this, hence this video. So if you are just coming across my channel for the very first time, you're highly welcome. My name is Kina Befe and you're welcome to BEFE'S Space. My last video was about me going to the streets of Accra to find out some of the street food that is being eaten by Ghanaians. Some I have eaten before and some I tried for the very first time in that video. So I'm going to be dropping the link here, so you're going to be seeing the video pop up here. I thought of sharing some of the things you should put into high consideration before you try out any street food or before you buy street food, because I'm not a big advocate for street food. Even if I'm not a big advocate for street food, there are times where you cannot do without it. Like, you have to buy it. So if there's any reason for you to buy street food, you should put all of these things I'm about to talk about into high consideration. So number one thing you should look out for is the environment. If the environment is not clean enough, then that street food is not for you. Sometimes the vendors can be on gutter, or even that gutter can be a very dirty, smelly gutter, and then you're buying food there. What do you expect? Like, what do you expect actually? Unless that gutter is a gutter in Kigali. Unless that gutter is in Kigali, where their gutters are very nice, clean, and you can even sit down there to eat. So the Maya posted a video where he was eating seated in the gutter. Unless the gutter is that clean and that neat. If not, please, if you go to buy any of this street food and then you see that everywhere is smelly and dirty and stinky and people are still trooping in there to buy. In fact, I hear some people say food that is sold beside the gutter is sweeter. How? Like, is it the smell that is adding to the taste of the food? I don't understand, but guys, you really need to put your health first. Guys, another thing you should put into high consideration is avoiding food that does not pass through heat. Let's take for instance the salads. You go to buy rice and then they'll put the salad beside the rice for you to eat, and you do not know the kind of water they used in washing the vegetables. You do not know if the vegetables were thoroughly washed, with salt and all that. Already most of those vegetables, there are chemicals they use in producing them. Those chemicals need to be washed out in a reasonable amount before you even use them, even at home. Come to talk of the food vendors that will just rinse it once or twice, not even with salt, and then you are to buy it and to eat. And because you cannot see the dirt, you would not even know that these vegetables are dirty or they are unhygienic to consume. So if there are meals where they don't pass through heat and you would have to eat them directly, you wouldn't have to wash them before eating them, please avoid them. Let me give you an instance. You see, when you're buying kinky, there is this pepper that they attach to it, right? Most vendors do not pass that pepper through heat. They just blend it in potowiwa and then they serve it. You see that kind of pepper, avoid it. Why? One, sometimes the pepper that they buy from the market are not good peppers. These are peppers that are almost getting bad. Some vendors, please, some street vendors, these are peppers that are almost getting bad, and because it is way cheaper compared to the other kind of pepper that is still fresh, and sometimes when you go to buy pepper, you see that they've separated, pepper, tomatoes, all those kind of fruit, they've separated that particular pepper for some certain kind of people, because that people will come and buy that kind of pepper, and sometimes there's food vendors that buy those kind of pepper because they are cheaper and they are more. So please, if you're buying kinky or banku and then they have to add the pepper, ask them if they put the pepper on fire. If they did not, try as much as possible to avoid it, or you take the food home and then pass it through heat again before you eat it. Personally, I had a very horrific experience, food poisoning. when it comes to that pepper. I remember eating that kenke. It was in the evening. I ate kenke. For some reason, I couldn't cook, so I went to buy kenke and fish. So I got that food that night, got home, ate it, the middle of the night. In the middle of the night, my eyes were just telling me. You see the way Janglova used to do somebody, or when you're spinning for a long time and then you stand. When you spin for a long time and then you stand, and then your eyes start rotating as if you're still spinning. That was what was happening to me on the bed. I was already sleeping. It was spinning from my dreamland. It was a terrible experience. For close to a week, I was still experiencing the effects of that food I ate. The pepper I used in eating that kenke did not pass through heat. It was raw pepper, and I do not know the state of the pepper, so I don't know what must have instigated that food poisoning. And trust me, food poisoning is not something you should encounter. You should run away from it. Another thing is, try as much as possible to look for vendors that prepare freshly made food. If you have to buy food outside, then you have to be practical. So if the vendor is opening around 6 p.m., there is every possibility that this first set of food they will sell is the remnants from the other day, right? So maybe new sets will come in later in the evening or later that day. Whether it's I do it even for normal restaurants, like good restaurants. They will definitely sell the previous day food before they start selling the freshly made food. So don't go and be the first person to buy the food immediately they open, unless you are sure that it is freshly made food. Maybe you see that they just brought it out from the fire, or you see that they are preparing the food right there and there. Hey, then that is really good. That would be really good, because you are rest assured that this is freshly made food. It's not food that was carried over. One most important thing I would love to say is, when your street food vendor is serving you, he or she should have gloves on. Sometimes it might not be gloves. Sometimes they do insert their hand in this nylon bag, this waterproof. You understand? Before they touch what they want to serve you. If you see that the vendor is using his bare hand or her bare hand, run. I'm going to tell you a story. I was coming back from La Paz market, and there is this particular woman I do buy plantain, roasted plantain from. You know that roasted plantain? No? Sometimes when you're hungry, you just want to put it in your mouth and then eat and get going. So I went there, and she was roasting the plantain. And then the particular one I wanted to buy was not ready, and I decided to wait. And beside her was another elderly woman that was selling something else, not food, something else. And then I did not notice that the woman was peeing. She actually squatted. I didn't know how she was squatting. She was actually peeing into a container. And then after peeing, she stood up. And then I realized that she was actually peeing. I wanted to walk away because of that, because she was just beside the lady selling the plantain. But I said, if I go, they will notice that it's because it's like it even showed in my countenance, like in my facial expression changed when I saw it. Like I really wanted to go, but I said, okay, just hold yourself. Yeah, the woman did not touch the food now, Abby. So when she stood up, she actually used this jerry can, this yellow jerry can. Am I? Ghanaians, do you know what is jerry can? I'll put a picture. This 25 liters yellow jerry can they use in fetching water. She actually used it to block herself so he wouldn't notice she was spinning. So when she stood up, she used her hand to pick the jerry can and then kept it beside the plantain seller. And then the plantain seller now stood up, picked the jerry can, and actually kept it where she wanted to really keep it, or where it usually stays. Straight from the jerry can straight to the plantain, the bare hand. And I was like, Madam, first of all, it wasn't my plantain she touched. So I was like, Madam, you are selling food. She actually had something she used in picking the plantain. So I told her, Madam, whenever you want to touch the plantain, it's either you wash your hand, or use something to pick the plantain, or use something to turn the plantain. And then she said, the plantain is hot, it's passing through fire. If there's any germs to die there before you start eating it. And I felt really uncomfortable. I'm like, this is the time for me to go. I was still there talking. I've not finished talking. She has not finished landing. The particular plantain I wanted to buy now fell inside the ashes. You see, It passed through the wires and then fell inside the ashes, and then she just brought it out and placed it back on, and she didn't care. And I said, Madam, you know I will not take that plant. And she said, ah, if you not take it, then go, I beg. Madam, go. Now, someone will be like, ah, but the plantain did not fall on the ground. You see the ashes, normally when they are done roasting the plantain for the day, sometimes they pour it on the floor, sometimes they keep it there, or the rat, the cockroach, everything can pass on it. And of course, I just felt bad because she did not care that that plantain fell into the ashes. She didn't even care that that woman just finished peeing and touched that jerrycan, and she touched it and went straight to put it on the plantain. And I'm like, so this is what they used to do with the plantain. Me at the back of my mind, I'm like, since the plantain is hot, it's just plantain and they are not cooking it, it's not too much process and all that. It's safe for me to just buy. But that single scenario just changed my perception again about buying roasted plantain on the streets. You have to be sure that the person is hygiene conscious. You have to be sure that the person is health conscious before you just buy things on the road. You go home, you finish eating something, and then you go home and you start falling sick, and you think it is your village people. It is not your village people. It is you that have caused it for yourself. It is you that have caused it for yourself. So guys, the reason why I'm saying all of this is because I did a street food video, and I'm also going to be doing more street food video. And it's not like I am saying never buy food on the streets, but I'm saying you should be health conscious, you should be hygiene conscious, you should take your health really seriously, and should be conscious of your health if for any reason you have to buy food on the street. So watch out for my next street food edition, because it's going to be fun. It's not going to be like the last one. Don't worry. This one, dear, are you expectant? Just subscribe to this channel if you haven't. Turn on the bell notification so you get notified when next I upload a new video, because you don't want to miss out my next set of content. Trust me, it's gonna be fun. I'll be strong, I'll be fine, and I'll hit the road and give you guys premium content. Thank you so much for watching, and until we meet next time, do not forget to always smile, because you're beautiful when you do. Bye.